But in reality, liberal democracy is not universal at all. It's rigidly Western. It talks about freedom and equality, but only under its own terms. It decides what it means to be free, what it means to be rational, what it means to be educated, what it means to be civilized. And if a society doesn't fit that mold, it's labeled as backwards, illiberal, in need of saving, in need of liberal democracy.
Members, the motion before the House tonight is that this House believes that liberal democracy has failed the Global South. To open the case for side proposition, I call on Ms. Arwa, who's the first-year PPE students and elected members of the Secretaries Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President, for this opportunity, and good evening, everyone. To begin, I'd like to make one thing very clear. Ideologies in and of themselves do not fail or succeed. Liberal democracy, like any other ideology, is just a set of ideas. It cannot do good or bad things. It can only be mobilized by people to do good or bad things. An ideology does not have agency. The people who wield it do. And that's why in today's debate, we shouldn't evaluate liberal democracy solely as a theoretical ideal. We need to look at how it has been used, what it has failed to prevent, what it has been used to justify. From that perspective, liberal democracy has failed the Global South because it has, both historically and in the present, been weaponized by the West as a tool of domination, facilitating the imposition of foreign Western values and interests onto the Global South, often in ways that go directly against its needs. Liberal democracy has always been a tool, first of empire, and now of global Western hegemony. But before I get into all that, it falls upon me to introduce speakers on side opposition. Speaking first, we have Asad Iqbal. Now, when I heard I was speaking against Asad, I knew I'd struggle to think of any proper criticisms. He is genuinely one of the sweetest people here at the Oxford Union. He is supportive, he is moral, he is kind, he has values, which really makes you wonder, what is he doing here at the Oxford Union? But don't fret, I did ask around and found out that Asad was one of the key supporters of Imran Khan's bid for Oxford Union chancellorship. Now, when that didn't work, it seems like he took the next best Khan alternative, President Khan. A true patriot. Next, we have Ambassador Georges Frieden, Luxembourg's current ambassador to the UK and former ambassador to the EU. Fresh from the world of European diplomacy, I'm not at all surprised that he's arguing on side opposition. After all, from the ivory towers of Cambridge to the corridors of Brussels, democracy looks great when you're the one shaping it. Next, we have Ambassador Kurt Volter, former US ambassador to NATO and special representative to Ukraine under Trump. Ambassador Volter, I hope you had a good flight from America. I know the culture shock here from the UK and the US can be quite extreme, but I'm sure working under Trump's administration, you were surrounded by vipers, so the union shouldn't be any different, really. Now, finally, we have Professor Surya Subedi, a distinguished international jurist and academic with a notable track record in international law and human rights. He's a strong advocate for liberal democracy, but I'm not too sure how successfully, having helped draft Nepal's stable constitution, which has seen 12 governments in 16 years. Mr. President, these are your guests, and they are most welcome. Now, to say that liberal democracy has been mobilized as a tool of oppression and domination shouldn't really come as any kind of momentous revelation to anyone. From its inception, liberal democracy was inseparable from empire, not only facilitating oppression, but actively legitimizing it. Western policymakers, philosophers, and scholars all advocated for liberal democracy as a universal model of governance, principles, and values. But in reality, liberal democracy is not universal at all. It's rigidly Western. It talks about freedom and equality, but only under its own terms. It decides what it means to be free, what it means to be rational, what it means to be educated, what it means to be civilized. And if a society doesn't fit that mold, it's labeled as backwards, illiberal, in need of saving, in need of liberal democracy. This was how liberal democracy was used as a tool to justify intervention, assimilation, and domination for